A very good morning and welcome back to another daily market update where I discuss all the major dollar pairs and of course gold. My name is Fabio, and before we dive into the actual chart here of EURUSD, we're going to be having a look at the fundamentals because there are quite a few updates that have been going on over the past few days. First of all, equities are dumping aggressively following Trump's support of an Nvidia competitor. You can check it out, US 30, US 100, they have all been pushing down lower. Tariffs in Canada and Mexico are starting tomorrow/today. This has caused a massive spike up higher on USD CAD and USD MXN, so the Mexican peso. Then we have reiteration of tariffs on China. This has caused AUDUSD to push down lower, as well as the Australian dollar got a lot weaker because the Australian dollar's strength is very dependent on China. And then third or fourth of all, we have Israel threatening to go back to war with Palestine, obviously not benefiting the overall stability within the Middle East. And then we have tensions mounting following Zelensky's comments yesterday that he is refusing peace with Russia. Again, another normal day in the office in the world, it seems, and let's have a look at what this is doing with the markets in general. Now, yesterday we saw a very strong push back up in towards the highs here on EURUSD. Remember what I mentioned yesterday is that we have an overall area of consolidation. If we have this premium versus discount tool and we adjust it slightly by marking out these 0.75, 0.25 and the 0.5 level, you can very clearly see that the 0.5 level over here was support, and again, as mentioned yesterday, support in the history it was resistance, or in the past it was resistance, and then again we're now pushing up in towards a key level of resistance. You don't need to be very smart to see and understand that this is a key level that we need to start breaking. And if we do finally break this area of supply, in my opinion, 1.06 will finally be next for EURUSD. However, we are now again in that 75% region of this overall range, and that is naturally an area of resistance. We also have an area of supply due to this being the buy up for the strong sell down. So if on the lower time frame we do see bearish confirmation, that could cause EURUSD to start falling down lower. So what is that bearish confirmation and what is it going to look like? Well, I then drop down into the 4-hour time frame, and what I see here on the 4-hour time frame is that we have the high right positioned over here. So if you are looking for shorts, guys, because here to the left we obviously don't have like a real clean area of supply. I did mention in yesterday's video that this could have been a potential supply zone, but then again, there's no bearish confirmation at all inside of that supply, so no shorts for myself. Now, what I would need to see for a short is one more push up, grab of the liquidity. This then becomes your fractal low or market structure low, and then this, and then this. And then I would be happy to look for a potential short position. Otherwise, what I expect is that the market will just continue pushing up higher and that it will follow the overall weekly fractal structure, which is still bullish. So remember, for the last few weeks, I've been calling this here as the weekly fractal high break. This here is now your weekly fractal low, and we now have a weekly fractal high positioned over here. So after seeing a retracement all the way back down in towards discount prices, we are now looking for that further upside continuation here throughout this week to take out this liquidity high over here. Okay, so that is still the game plan, at least seeing a push back up higher in towards around that 106 level, and even in towards this or this supply zone over here. But we need now the 4-hour to start marching on and not giving us any bearish momentum. So what do I mean by that? Again, we need to see a strong breakout here above this. This then becomes your area of demand, which should then be respected to push the market up higher. If we just grab liquidity above it, then this becomes your fractal low and we break this again, then you could look for shorts. So shorts if this happens, and longs if we obviously close above the black line. We retest this as demand or consolidation, and then from there we push up higher again. Okay, so those are the two options. Could it sell off just like this now? Yes, it could, but then there's just no valid entry for myself. Going into the dollar index, what has happened over there is that we've seen a sell-off from the dollar yesterday, pretty much in line with what we expected. Again, remember guys, if we zoom out to the higher time frame, what you're going to see here on the weekly is still the exact same thing that we've been talking about for a very, very long time. Overall, we had a supply zone over here on the weekly time frame. Then we come into that supply zone with bullish fractal structure. So high break, here we have a low break, here we have a second low break. This overall becomes your buy before the sell, which is acting as an area of supply. So at any point in time, could we sell off from that weekly supply zone down lower to then eventually, in my opinion, take out this low over here. So that's personally what I'm looking for from the dollar. Still a push down lower into 105.420. If I look at the daily time frame here, obviously we are now slowing down inside this daily area of demand. This is a sell before a strong buy up that broke market structure. we reacted to this imbalance over here. So now we have this demand zone fighting with this supply zone. So this supply zone had this liquidity high over here, which we grabbed, which caused a push down. And now we have this demand zone over here, which broke this internal structural high. So what I want to see from the dollar now is to break this low. If this low breaks, then 105.420 is going to be next for sure. And you can remain in those dollar short positions. So keep an eye on that for now, okay? Furthermore, if we look at the 4-hour time frame, we can now also see that the 4-hour fractal structure is still bearish. This is now currently in control as your supply. Obviously, we need to see a little bit more momentum start to kick in today, but it is still looking good for shorts. I would only be interested in some longs again if we break this wick over here, this internal high, and then maybe some more upside. But until then, just still further downside is the only thing I'm looking for. Sorry if the chart looks a little bit messy, but I think you guys understand what I mean. If you have any questions, make sure to join the Discord and ask your questions over there. Now, AUDUSD, guys, dumped down lower yesterday under the news that those China tariffs were going to be coming back. But overall, if I look here at AUDUSD from a weekly perspective and we zoom out real quick to the monthly, then you can very clearly see that AUDUSD here is sitting at a key level of support. Okay, guys, we can see here support, here support, here support, here support, here. Again, we're looking for support to form to push the market up higher again. For myself and the general knowledge that I have here on the fundamentals, it does not make sense for AUDUSD to start pushing down a lot lower. Now, obviously, we're looking at the monthly time frame here. So on a week or on a daily basis, yes, we could still see a further sell-off, but I am anticipating a reversal on AUDUSD very soon. Now, obviously, guys, we have that weekly fractal bullish structure, right? So after grabbing the liquidity underneath this low here, we saw that the weekly time frame shifted bullish. So we saw the push down, pull back, push down, push up, push down, push up. And now we're inside of this area of demand. So I am still looking for further upside from AUDUSD. Yesterday, we saw a small teaser of further upside here on the daily bullish candle close, and I was actually very interested in longs, because if you look at the 4-hour time frame here, you can again see that we had an area of demand, which I'm going to show you now here in the form of this sell before the buy. So this here is your area of demand. Here we had two equal lows and we came in towards that demand zone. Here we get the bullish change of character, we get another bullish change of character. So I was definitely expecting the market to push up higher from this area of demand, but then again the news came out regarding tariffs and that just decided to push the market down lower. So this is obviously not ideal. I would have preferred to see that shift in the structure, but now what I'm looking at is this daily fractal high, right? So this daily fractal high broke this daily fractal low. So preferably what I now want to see this week is the daily fractal high break, and then I'll just get in on a long position like that, with this being the sell before the buy, being your new area of demand to then go long up higher. Yeah, that's now what I'm going to be looking for. So that's the potential position that I see on AUDUSD. For myself, it makes sense to start pushing up higher very soon. Also looking at this from a structural perspective, this is pretty much what I'm seeing. Could you just buy AUDUSD here? Yes, you could, with your stop loss underneath the lows. If you're interested in getting into a swing position, this is definitely possible. So keep your eyes open for that as well. But obviously the highest, let's say, conviction play or the highest probability play will definitely come once we see that daily fractal break in structure, okay? So that's what I'm looking for on AUDUSD. Going into GBPUSD, what we can see there is that it pushed up higher. So myself yesterday discussed the opportunity for a short position because again, here we had a break of structure. So you could view this as a high and this is a low. Here we see the daily fractal structure shift down. This then becomes your daily area of supply, this buy up for the sell down. So I was interested at looking then at the 4-hour supply zone, but then again, nothing inside of that 4-hour supply zone. This here was my 4-hour supply zone, the buy before the strong sell down, breaking this little uptrend here, breaking the market structure. But again, we come into that supply zone without any bearish confirmation at all. You can just see it was pushing. So no shorts available at all. And therefore I was just not interested in shorts. So I prevented myself from taking a loss. So that's a good thing. Overall now I'm looking for more upside again from GU. We have had another daily fractal structural break. So for myself now, this is pretty much the demand zone that is in control. And I'm now looking for GU to start pushing up higher in towards this high over here, okay? So that's now what I'm looking at. So 1.28 is or should be next for GU in my opinion. And that is personally what I am looking for. Could I be wrong? Yes. The dollar index is what is going to decide our fate, guys. If the dollar index decides to push down below, obviously, these lows over here, then we have open game until, 105.420, and that should push GBPUSD up higher in towards 1.28. Going into NZDUSD, I'm currently in a long position still in this pair or on this pair. NZDUSD is very similar to AUDUSD, where as you zoom out, you can see that we're now at a key level in the market of support. I do not expect this to go a lot lower. We are at all-time lows, guys, at all-time lows on NZDUSD from a monthly perspective. So for myself, it makes sense to start seeing a bounce very, very soon, as we have seen in the past. Obviously, on the intraday time frame, I could be wrong, because as you've seen in the past, it could just drop another 13% or 12%. But I definitely do not expect NZDUSD to go below an all-time low here, below 0.5. So I am therefore looking for somewhat of a reversal up higher. And again, very similar to AUDUSD, the weekly fractal structure is bullish. So we have this weekly demand zone here in control, which is your sell for the buy together with the fractal structure. This here is your protected low. This here is the open high. So for myself, it makes sense to start pushing up higher still. I'm looking at this from a structural perspective. Again, you could just simply go long like this and swing it with your stop loss underneath the low here, targeting a 1 to 2 risk to reward. That would be perfectly fine. If you're looking for a swing position from the daily time frame, what we can see here is that, again, we're at a key level of support. Again, I don't trade support and resistance, but I do trade common logic. And if I go to the 4-hour time frame here, and let me just clean up my chart for you guys, because it's getting a little bit overwhelming with all of those zones, but then you can very clearly see that we have this area of demand over here, so the sell for the buy, and that we kind of made, this was a news push, we liquidated the lows over there, we get the 4-hour change of character, double change of character, and now just looking for that next upside push. So that's pretty much the long position that I'm in on NZDUSD. I already went long yesterday with the 1-hour entry being positioned over here. Let me show you. So my entry was over here on the 1-hour fractal structural shift, and it was a perfect entry. But yeah, then you can see we retraced all the way back down, and now we need to break this 1-hour fractal high. So that's also what I have an alert on. If you're waiting for a high probability play, I would say wait for that 1-hour fractal high to break, and then you'll have higher probability longs in play, and then you form a 1-hour demand zone, which is then the sell before the buy over here, and this zone should then hold and push the market up higher. But yeah, I'm now looking just for this overall internal trend to continue pushing the market up higher. And if we do dump down lower, then again, no issue myself. Then I'll just get in on that weekly play over here with maybe just an entry somewhere over here, and then the stop loss underneath the lows, targeting pretty much a 1 to 3 risk to reward back up in towards that weekly supply zone. Going into gold, last of all, gold, I'm looking for further upside today. So going into the daily time frame, what we can see here is that the daily momentum is bullish again. Here we have the overall impulse, and we've seen somewhat of a correction over here. Now, gold has grabbed liquidity underneath this trend line over here. If we go in towards the 4-hour time frame, it's going to be a little bit more clear, but you can see here that we have a trend line running from, and if I zoom in, running from pretty much this low over here in towards the highs. So you pretty much grab the liquidity underneath that trend line over here, and now we're seeing a V-shaped reversal in towards the upside. Yesterday I was looking for a short from this 4-hour supply zone, maybe for one more dump down lower. If I then go into the 1 hour, you can see that we were waiting from this 1 hour supply zone over here, and that I marked out this liquidity high. So you saw an initial reaction to that liquidity high, but what we needed was the 1 hour bearish change of character again. So we needed a low break over here, and then I would have gotten into a short. But now that we've broken the 4 hour supply zone over here, that is now pretty much demand that is in control. This is now your demand zone over here that is in control, and I'm now looking still for further upside push. And I'm now expecting us to push up higher again and take out these equal highs. So let's see if we can get some more upside from gold today. And bullish on gold after all the uncertainty that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. Wish you a fantastic trading day. We're going live on YouTube today as well, so make sure to be there. And it's 2:30 Central Eastern Time, New York Open, and I'll see you there.